Good morning. Welcome to CLC's Reset for Life Moment. I've been thinking a lot about what separates us as humans, and so I decided to do some research, and here's what I found. I found that every human has 3 layers of skin, the first and most visible layer being the epidermis. The epidermis has 5 sublayers, the deepest of which is called the basal cell layer. This is the layer that is responsible for giving us our skin color. Here's where it gets interesting for me. The basal cell layer is only 0.2 of a millimeter thick. That's equal to 2 sheets of paper. To put this all in perspective, our current racial tension is over something that is 2 sheets of paper thick. It's over the color of another person's skin. I mean, can you imagine that we let 2 sheets of paper come between us? Can you imagine that we let 2 sheets of paper cause us to treat someone else with such disdain and disregard and hatred? Can you imagine that 2 sheets of paper lets us think that it's okay to abuse someone else, that it's okay to say rude things to them, or it's okay to kill them? Can you imagine that we let 2 sheets of paper be the reason why we don't love another person? You see, behind that 2 sheets of paper is a person, and we are basically the same. Sure, we all have different experiences and personalities and environments, that's true. But inside our bodies, we all have the rest of the layers of skin. We have fat, we have hearts, we have vital organs, muscles, tissue, and bone. And beyond all of that, we have feelings and a need to be loved and valued. You know, there is far more that connects us than divides us if we look at it this way. When we let something that is 2 sheets of paper thick divide us and cause so much animosity, I think we've lost touch with what it means to be human. The truth is, life is hard enough on this spinning rock, isn't it? Why do we let something so small separate us so easily? It really tells me how superficial we are when it comes to another person, that we can't see past the color of their skin to see what else makes up who they are. We are all so much more than the sum total of our skin color. And unfortunately, so many white people have justified their systematic abuse of black people based on such a superficial thing. It's wrong and it's sinful on so many levels. You know, my friend Godfrey Adderley reminds us of just that. He says that this isn't a skin issue, it's a sin issue. And he's right. 1 John chapter 4, verse 9 to 10 says that we have been loved by a holy God even when we were sinners, and we didn't deserve to be loved. And God set aside his differences with us. He chose to look past the things that separate us, and through Jesus, he reconciled us to himself. We had far more than 2 sheets to separate us and differentiate us from God, and yet he still chose to love us. He didn't write us off. He didn't ignore our plight. Through Jesus, God came alongside broken humanity and gave them exactly what they needed, which was a way back to him. Our sin had separated us from God, and his love made a way for us to be brought back together again with him. He loved us when we were diametrically opposed to him in our sins, and we couldn't have been more opposite. And that's why 1 John 4, verse 20 says that if someone says that they love God, but they hate their brother or sister, their Christian brother or sister, then they're actually a liar, because they can't say that they hate people that they can see, but love God that they can't see. You know, we've been given this gift of unconditional love, and now we need to share it with others regardless of the differences. So I would suggest that instead of letting 2 sheets of paper separate us, let's let love bind us. Let's let love bring us together. Let's show this world that the love of Jesus really does conquer all fear, as verse 18 of that same chapter tells us. We shouldn't be afraid of someone who has a different skin color from us. Instead, we should be compelled by the love of Jesus to open our arms wide to them and to welcome them into our lives. And we can do this because that's what Christ has done for us. We have been loved completely and perfectly and unconditionally. Therefore, we should love others the same. 2 sheets of paper should never bring a divide between people who are all made in the image of God and loved by him. Anti-black racism, bigotry, and bias has got to stop if you're a Christian. There is simply no place for it in the life of one who has been loved by God in spite of how different they are from God. Also, as I announced yesterday, we are making plans to come back together again on July the 5th for a live service, thanks to the government regulations that are allowing us to have up to 30% of our capacity in one service at a time. So we are going to have 2 services. Obviously, our 2 service times will be 9 and 11. There will be no child care at this time, and there will be strict protocols that are put into place to keep everybody safe. We will have those protocols put into a document for you that's going to be available in about a week and a half or so. We'll mail it out to you. Also, I want you to keep in mind that we will have live streaming available for those of you who don't want to come to the building, and we totally understand that, but you will still be able to follow along with us online. It's part of the reason why we're taking a little bit longer time to open up again. We want to make sure that everything is working on our end so that your experience here is the best that it can be and you are super safe. I love and miss all of you. I hope that you are staying well, and I can't wait to see you again. That is my Reset for Life word for today. Have a great day. God bless.